Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Amy Membreño, and I am the Manager of Employment Services at Immigrant Centre Manitoba. Thank you so much for joining us for International Women's Day event. Since our beginning in 1948, Immigrant Centre Manitoba, which was then known as the Citizenship Council of Manitoba, has been helping newcomer women to thrive in Manitoba. In the early 1960s, three determined women, Sonia Roeder, Mary Pinero, and Genevieve Brownell, worked to expand our services to include English classes, employment services, and housing assistance. And many of those supportive services continue on to this day. In the last 8 years, Immigrant Centre Manitoba has provided services to over 20,000 women in Manitoba. Today, we're gathering in recognition of International Women's Day. For those of you unfamiliar with Women's Day, let me begin with a brief history. The first International Women's Day was observed on March 19, 1911 in Austria, Denmark, Germany, and Switzerland, when more than 1 million women and men showed their support by participating in public events. In the years that followed, other countries began to observe and celebrate this day. And in 1975, the United Nations recognized International Women's Year and began celebrating International Women's Day on March 8th. Today, International Women's Day is a global day of recognition, celebrating the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women and girls, and raising awareness of the work that's left to be done. As Kofi Annan says, women themselves have the right to live in dignity, in freedom from want and freedom from fear. On this International Women's Day, let us rededicate ourselves to making that a reality. Now I'd like to introduce three women on the Immigrant Centre team that will present their brilliant stories about how they help others and their own experiences. I'm pleased to welcome first Hamda Ahmed. Hamda, please share your story with us.
Thanks, Amy, for the great introduction. My name is Hamda Ahmed. I work in Immigrant Centre as employment facilitator. I am delighted to share with you how Immigrant Centre were helping our clients, particularly immigrant women, during this unprecedented time. In short, I work the employment department, so we specialize assisting newcomers with CBL4 and under. We were able to help during this unprecedented time 658 clients, where 53% was women. Mostly, when the pandemic happened, it was uncertainty, fear, and we were able to give our clients regular updates. So women, our clients, especially immigrants who have facing multiple barriers, they were really fear of the future. So in the team I work with, we are three, and we have a different facilitators who speaks different languages. So we were able to give them a regular updates in our local language. So at that time, women were not able to understand how the COVID-19 were impacting our country and the world. So at that time, we stepped back for our employment heads, and then we were able to give them updated precaution in our local languages like Tigrinya, Somali, and Arabic, which is really a phenomenal and unique service that Immigrant Centre provides to our clients. I am hopeful that the coming years, the COVID-19 will end soon, and the future is bright, especially for women. Our clients who are mothers, wives, daughters, they were amazing. and we were able to help them to succeed their employment goals. Thank you, Amy, and I would like to give back to you.
Thank you very much, Hamda, for talking a little bit more about some of our employment services here at Immigrant Center, which are also available to women. Next, let's hear from Anjana Katib. Anjana, can you please share your story with us?
Sure. Thank you so much, Amy. Thank you for inviting me today to share my personal experiences of finding employment during COVID-19. Hello, everyone who is joining and who is viewing us today through Facebook, YouTube Live. Happy International Women's Day to all of you. My name is Anjana and I'm employer liaison at the Immigrant Center, Manitoba. I would like to start from my beginning of Canada, which is in 2015. I came as an international student and my husband came as he had the open work permit. So after a month, he got employment, full-time employment. But because I was an international student visa, there was a restriction that I could not work more than 20 hours per week. So it took me 4 months to get part-time employment at that time, even though there was no COVID. And it's always a struggle for immigrant people. And then I'm not sure if the gender played role, but like for women, it's even more difficult. So like now, after 4 years, almost 5 years, I graduated. And within that time, we have our PR. So for me, I could work as many hours as possible. So there is no restriction of 20 hours now. And we had our daughter. So that was another happiness, at the same time challenge for employment, because we have to find childcare service. And pandemic happened. We could not find daycare. It was tough for me to find employment. So I was working part-time, evenings and weekends, and my husband was working full-time. And I guess like it was the opportunity because of the COVID for me, because most of the parents started working from home. They took their children out of the daycare and they started homeschooling. So I guess that's the opportunity for me, that I found the daycare spot for my daughter, even though I was looking for 2.5 years. And now she goes to daycare. I'm working full-time here and my husband is working. So everything is sorted out, but still that fear that, something might happen in here. If my daughter is exposed, I have to take a leave, and uncertainty because of that. And I think it's not just my personal experience, that every woman is facing these, or every family facing this in their life. So for all of you who are watching us today, who are joining, I would like to say, keep looking for better opportunity. And better opportunity doesn't always mean like higher position or higher paying job. At least to me, it means like the kind of job where you have to give 100% when you're at the job, but when you're at home working or playing with family, then you don't have to constantly stress about the job. So thank you so much, Amy, for making that happen. And I'd like to say thank you to Amy, our manager, our CEO, George, and all my wonderful colleagues for making this workplace so wonderful that I do not have to stress when I'm home, spending time with my family. And hopefully the pandemic will end soon and everything will go back to normal. Women find easier to connect with people, easier to share their experiences, build their network, and find employment. And for everyone who is looking for a job, please do not lose hope. Do not stop trying and be strong. Try to be financially independent, because that brings you empowerment. And if you are looking for a job and if you need help, we are here to help you. Call us, come to the office. We will be here to assist you, because we are in this together. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Anjana, for sharing your story with us as well. It's quite interesting to notice that in some cases, the pandemic has actually assisted women to be able to find daycare centers and be able to start working. But in many other cases as well, women have been going through what they call a she session during the pandemic, where it's become much more difficult for women to be able to work because of the additional responsibilities on them, or because many of the sectors where women work, such as hospitality or hotels, have been greatly affected by the pandemic. So thank you for sharing your story with us, and thank you for the encouragement for all newcomers, including women, to not give up even though things can get difficult. Now, please join me in welcoming Roslyn Avincula, who will present about the pandemic and women in the community. Roslyn, please share your presentation with us.
Thank you so much, Amy. I am Roslyn Advincula from Immigrant Center, and I am the NISU coordinator and this zone coordinator. Thank you also to Hamda and Anjana for sharing about the experiences and your contributions to us as newcomer women in terms of immigration and in the employment side. It really showed how women rose above those challenging times through resiliency. It's very inspiring, so thank you. It is also an honor to co-present with both of you and to be part of the planning team for this year's International Women's Day celebration. Thank you to Amy Membrano, to Amy Wang, to Shivani, to Mike, and to Jorge for supporting this. I am actually thrilled when this happened, and I am looking forward to more of this in the coming years. And as this year's theme states, a challenged world is an alert world. Individually, we are responsible for our own thoughts and actions all day, every day. We can all choose to challenge and call out gender bias and inequality. We can all choose to seek out and celebrate women's achievement. From challenge comes change. And today, I would like to choose the celebration of the strength, resiliency, and the great impact of women in the community during these COVID-19 times. When the pandemic started a year ago, we were all affected by it. There were many uncertainties and fears. However, these fears and uncertainties didn't become a barrier for many community members to come out and help in whatever way they can. And many of whom that I know are women, like Hamda, Anjana, and Amy. These challenging times fueled them to lead and help in many innovative ways. I know that men also had challenges and contributions during the pandemic. However, I would like to take this moment to amplify women's experiences and contributions. Let us start to highlight our frontliners, who we consider our heroes in this journey. According to United Nations Women, UN Women, globally, 70% of healthcare workers and first responders are women. This shows how women are involved in this sector. In addition to being frontliners, some of them are also mothers, daughters, wives, partners, siblings, friends, community members, and other more. So we thank you for your service and bravery. We wouldn't have survived it without your great contribution. You put your lives at stake for the greater good. So thank you. Then I would like to highlight the contributions of the women in the settlement sector in terms of helping our newcomers in settling and integrating here in Canada in the most unprecedented times. Moving into a new country in itself is not easy. How much more when you move into a new country during the pandemic? You're learning the new environment, which at the same time is also adapting into the new norm. I think that's how it felt back in March 2020. We received referrals around this, and I'm grateful for the role of the service providers here at Immigrant Center and to the service providers in the community who really worked hard in reaching out those who needed the support and right information. Your caring and creative ways indeed reach out to many vulnerable population. Many of us in the sector came together and started to share and plan how we can best support the clients that we serve. I know that as human, we also had fears. Yet you kept going and made sure that no one is left behind and that you're able to reach those who needed support, those who needed someone to talk to, those who doesn't want to feel alone, and those who needed guidance. I felt that our sector became stronger together and have supported one another more in order to support our newcomers better. I remember attending many Zoom meetings with Manzo, Zone, ECCM, IPWs, and our internal organization here at Immigrant Center. We've had lots of meetings around this too. We have shown resiliency and has indeed adapted to the new normal in service delivery. From learning how to use Zoom ourselves, which I never used in the past, and using it in the best ability to create online programming, putting stuff together and delivering packages to families, to one-on-one remote appointments, to online tutorials, to cooking classes and craft sessions. I thank you all for all that you do, and thank you for being there for our newcomers when they needed it the most. I'm so proud to be part of our amazing sector and our organization. Lastly, I would like to highlight our community volunteers. Again, these women face their own challenges and disadvantages. Yet again, it didn't hinder them from making sure that the community members will have food on the table, that a community member will know the updated information through translating and interpreting the information in various languages, to making a phone call, checking in, to sharing their home-cooked meals, to organizing Zoom events, to sharing their cooking and craft skills, and to other many unknown things that these women have done for the community. These are the community women who gave what they have without expecting something in return. They volunteered because for them, it is the right thing to do. These women volunteers wear multiple hats, yet remain balanced to lend their helping hands. Thank you for being a strong foundation of our community in these dark moments. Thank you for your gift of time, love, and care for humanity. Our world is better because of you. You are strong, you are caring, you are innovative, and you are resilient. And lastly, you are you. Thank you for choosing to challenge the challenging times. Thank you for standing up for the sake of many. Let us continue to choose to challenge the inequalities and to continue to celebrate the achievements at the same time. There is no limit on what we as women can accomplish, as Michelle Obama once said. And I say that we will accomplish in greater heights if we will work together and create change together. Thank you and happy International Women's Day.
Thanks very much, Roslyn. You gave me goosebumps. Really appreciate not only the recognition that you've given to different individuals in the community, but especially for the work that you're always doing for others, reaching out, supporting others, and helping them to thrive as well. Thank you all for attending. And I, again, want to give a special thank you to Hamda Ahmed, Anjana Katel, and Razan Adangula for your presentations. And I also want to thank Amy Wong, Shivani Niranjan, Mike Bizarre, and Jorge Fernandez for assisting in the planning and the coordination of this virtual event. In closing, I would like to use Kofi Annan's words, which says, when women thrive, all of society benefits, and succeeding generations are given a better start in life. Thank you very much for attending, and happy International Women's Day of 2021.